Let me tell you a secret. Word of mouth ain't word of mouthing no more. If you're trying to survive in the beauty industry in 2024, baby, you're gonna have to step it up. You're gonna have to do something different. You're gonna have to think outside the box, and this is the box, okay? I know the beauty industry is ever evolving and ever changing, so I've looked up some recent stats to help you not only stand out in the beauty industry, but to help you create and sustain a thriving business in 2024 and beyond. Like, these are life hacks for the beauty industry that every professional in this field is gonna want to know. So if you want to learn more, come on in. Hey beauty queens, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, keep your favorite yachty gal. Okay, I am beyond excited for this video today, okay? And not only are we gonna be chit-chatting and spilling some tea, but I'm gonna be doing my makeup. But y'all, I have not cleaned my brushes. Look at this. This is so gross. As a makeup artist, I'm thoroughly grossed out, and I'm going to pray for my skin, and I'm taking this makeup off immediately because I'm so nervous I might get a breakout. Y'all, look at my skin. We've been doing a really good job with keeping our skin good and clear, so I actually don't want to disrupt that at all. But Urban Decay sent me over some products, new products, and it's been a minute. Urban Decay is one of my favorite beauty brands, period. They make such good quality things. It's one of those brands where I can pretty much trust that it doesn't really matter what the product is, even if it's not typically my niche kind of products, you know what I mean, like very vibrant colors and stuff like that. I don't do too much of that, but still I know it's going to be an amazing product just because I don't think I've ever tried anything from Urban Decay that I did not care for. So they sent me over two foundations. They're from their Face Bond line. They're so tiny, y'all. Look at this, so cute. Excuse all my missing nails. We're in a press-on era, and it's time for these press-ons to go. So some of them have fallen off naturally, and others just want to stay, y'all. They want to stick around. So I'm being patient, but I might just have to rip them off because, hello, this is not looking cute. Anyways, so we're gonna be working with these today. I am excited. I'm gonna be talking more so about the topic we're talking about today, which is real exciting. So I won't be really walking you through everything, but when it comes down to this product, I will definitely share my thoughts about it. And if you're new here, you're probably like, why would your thoughts matter? They definitely do, because I've been a makeup artist for 10 years. So I do have a good bit of experience and expertise when it comes on to beauty products. I've tried so many foundations, and I've really just been so busy that I have not had time to create videos. But this year I want to change that, y'all. I really want to give back to the industry that has just been so good to me and that I love so much. So I'm definitely gonna be posting a lot more self-help and advice videos for people either just getting started or even a little bit seasoned. If you want to, you know, hear my thoughts on certain things, you know, I'm definitely a person who looks at what other pros think about stuff before I run out and buy it. So I'm gonna be going back to product reviews, tips for getting started as either a hairstylist or a makeup artist, because I am both. So yeah, if you are interested to hear all the things that I've learned in my 10+ years in this industry, then you definitely want to hit the subscribe button. So you're trying to get started in the beauty industry, and truthfully, y'all, doing the research to create this video actually blew my mind a little bit as well. The stats are mind-blowing. I'm a little bit inspired myself. And I think it's so good every now and then to really just take a step back from what you're doing. We're so used to being go, especially in the creative field, because I feel like a lot of times creative entrepreneurs sort of suffer with a little bit of ADHD or ADD, and we are just go. We on to the next thing. We're doing like 30 things at once. But for maximum productivity, sometimes you really do have to step back and just stick to the facts and just slow down, slow your roll. You know what I mean? The problem isn't you, it's just probably your method. So I did some good research for us today, y'all, to really help get us back on track, get us started wherever you're at in the game. I think these tips will be absolutely amazing. The first tip I want to start off with is career or hobby. Okay, that's tip number one. Is this something you want to be a hobby or a career? Now, this is very important because I feel like this has to be number one, the first thing that you think about, and be real with yourself. Even if you have been in the industry before for like a longer time, you're wondering why you're not growing, ask yourself, is this something that you actually want to be doing for a long time? Like, you want to retire in this field? Or is it something for right now? Like, you have other goals in mind, you have maybe like an actual career field that's like really, that you're really passionate about, but you also enjoy doing hair or doing makeup or doing nails or whatever, right? But it's not something you really see for yourself like as an actual career. Like I said, this is very important because it'll help you to decide kind of like pretty much like how much effort you're willing to put into it. Because realistically speaking, if it's not something that you want to do forever, you're just not gonna be willing to bend over backwards and go above and beyond, like spend a lot of money, a lot of time. Like, you're gonna put the effort into the thing that means the most to you. Okay, even in the Bible it says where your treasure is, your heart is, or something like that. And pretty much you're gonna create an idol out of whatever it is that matters the most to you. So if realistically speaking that is not your beauty career, then not saying you will not grow, because some people are just like really talented and they will just naturally, you know, like attract people will gravitate toward them and they'll have a thriving business here, but then they just won't stay in it, right? But it definitely will determine certain things, like how you carry yourself, the effort you're gonna put into like creating a website, client experience, whether you care about reviews or no reviews. That will help you decide things like, okay, should you be saving money to go to cosmetology school or to go get your license as an esthetician, or if you want to work in a med spa, whatever it is that you want to do. I'm not gonna go too in depth in each thing because I actually think I'm gonna create a like get started series, and I'm going to break down each one of these in a specific video. So that's point number one, is career or hobby. It'll really help you to kind of like plan everything else out that you need to do. Okay, so I didn't mention this before, but a part of deciding if you want it to be a hobby or a career, even if you do want this to just be like a temporary thing, it's not your long-term goal, I will definitely say that you always still want to make sure that you're carrying yourself in a professional manner, right? Because it just reflects well on the industry. It allows us to be able to price things according to, you know, like expertise and just like what people should expect. I think when people come into the industry and just really just have a very callous attitude towards things, obviously it diminishes what we have to bring to the table. And you know, they say like one bad apple spoils the bunch. Unfortunately, it is like that, because sometimes when people have bad experiences with like one or two stylists being unprofessional, then when they come across a stylist that really does value their expertise, what they bring to the table, then and they're charging their worth, then clients might feel like, oh, I'm not paying that much, because they're judging based on experiences that they've had that weren't like exactly favorable, right? And didn't best represent what the industry has to offer. So definitely, even if you are going to be a part-timer, just carry yourself accordingly within this space, right? Now, the next thing you're gonna want to do after you decided kind of like where you stand is just that. Figure out where you fit in this space, right? The beauty industry is so vast. There's so much that you can really do. You could be in a med spa, you could be an injector, you could do Botox, lip filler, you could be a makeup artist, you could within each field that I'm mentioning, there are also so many subcategories. So let's say you want to be a makeup artist, there's film and television, there's commercial, there's editorial, there is beauty influencing, like to be like a beauty influencer online. You can work at MAC, you can work at Ulta. Like, there's just so much that you can do, right? So you have to kind of figure out what it is within the space that you want to do. It's like being any type of artist, really. Yes, you're an artist, but there's fine arts, there's sculpting, there's this, there's that. So it's really the same in any industry. So you're gonna want to kind of like pay attention to your strengths and weaknesses, so on and so forth. What do you enjoy most? Do you like doing hair? Some people, I know when I was in cosmetology school, they definitely said, listen, I cannot stand doing hair, I'm just a nails girl, whatever. And that's okay, you know what I mean? Definitely figure out what it is that, you know, like gets your creative juices flowing, and kind of like focus your energy on that. Don't try to fit yourself into a space because you feel like, okay, hey, those people make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money doing whatever as long as you're actually passionate about it and you're willing to put in the work. And truthfully, even if you get into a space that's making a lot of money but you're not interested in it, you're not really going to find a lot of success in it, because it's just not going to come natural to you. You're not going to be motivated, and you just really just might not be that skilled at it because it's not something that is actually interesting to you. Okay, so just keep it real. Do a little assessment of yourself and figure out where do you stand in the space. All right, real quick, this is what it looks like with just concealer added. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you. So real quick, I'm gonna give you a full rundown at the end of my thoughts on it, but yeah, I'm not even gonna tell you. But this is what it looks like blended out. I do think adding the concealer though helped change out the color situation, because it just definitely was, the undertone was off, the shade was off. I don't think it looks as dark now. Truthfully though, I do not even need to powder this down. It is dry even to the touch. Like, I'm actually pressing on my skin, and y'all look, there is nothing on my fingertips. Like, it's not moving. Even the concealer on top, like, it's just not moving. So yes, gonna save my thoughts for the end, but you could kind of tell, like, I like that. Anyway, so now that you figure out where you not spit, don't spit. Now that you figure out where you fit in this space, then the next thing that you want to do is figure out who is your ideal client. Okay, what does he or she look like? Where do they work? I do a full thing, like just like people creating characters for a film. You have to make it as realistic as possible, because this will help you to narrow down for my next tip. You need to know down to the T who this client is. Where is she? Where does she work? How does she dress? What does she like to do for fun? You know what I mean? What kind of shows does she watch? If she was to go to the salon, you have to be able to visualize her sitting in a salon chair, and then visualize kind of the whole thing around her, the whole setting. Like, where would she feel most comfortable? And then make sure that you sort of know how to create that space, right? Are you attracting, oh, my nose itches. Are you attracting the person that you want to attract? Well, here's a good example of how to do this. For me personally, what I've seen, colorists, right? There are different type of colorists, but when I think like vivid, so person who does like a lot of fun colors, pastels, like multicolored hair and stuff, I kind of think they have more of like a funky personality, and they kind of do attract clients that are also like that. So walking into a space that does lots of vivid colors and stuff, so on and so forth, I feel like walking in, it kind of almost always visually looks like walking into a museum. It's not as structured, not like boring, but there's definitely a different aesthetic walking into a salon that does maybe just like hair extensions and blonding services. Those salons definitely give off more like a luxe, super not strict, but the colors are gonna be more like beige or this or that, you know what I mean? The stylists probably dress a certain way, they probably all have an extensions, they're probably all blonde, you know what I mean? Knowing who your ideal clientele is will help you to know how to attract that person, because maybe you're advertising in a way that's just, you're just never gonna reach the person that you're looking for. Okay, like if you're looking for this kind of client and you're advertising on Instagram, is this lady on Instagram scrolling? Will she ever come across your marketing strategy? You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to switch it up. So that's a good tip. And another thing that goes hand in hand with that, y'all, and I'm so excited about this, this is definitely what blew my mind today. Don't trust just your feeling and just what you're seeing. Sometimes you really need facts, like straight facts. You need statistics. Okay, look into your analytics. Look at who you're attracting. Maybe if you're not attracting the type of clients, you feel like you get a lot of inquiries but they don't book, it's because you're attracting people but just not the right people. Okay, so look and study your analytics. If you don't know how to study analytics, like I'm not the exact best at it, but I'll definitely probably make a video to share resources that will help you to be able to understand what you're looking at when you're looking at a screen and it's just numbers and you're just like, okay, but what does this mean? You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna lie, it is confusing. But the better you can get at this, is it will literally be a game changer for you. Okay, when people hire marketing people and so on and so forth, this is what they look at. They're gonna look at your analytics, and this is gonna help them to decide how to find this girl that you're looking for, right? And then I looked up some stats, and I'm just gonna read some of them to you because, hello, we're sticking to the facts. And I'm gonna tie this into basically like my next tip, because I can't keep sharing without kind of like hinting towards what the next tip is, and I'm sure you already know. It's marketing. Okay, so once you figure out who the ideal client is, you are going to have to next figure out how to market to attract your ideal clientele. So this and this go hand in hand. They are almost one, but I separated them because marketing in itself is one thing and your ideal clientele is another thing. I do think that they need to be separated. If you're kind of lumping these ideas into one, it might also be part of the reason why you're finding it very difficult, because you're just thinking, oh, I want somebody who has money, who's willing to pay X amount of dollars, that is kind of like a high-end client, but it's not specific enough. Okay, it's not specific enough. So you need to kind of like separating the marketing out of it and just like really focus on who this person is. If you were to have a conversation with them, what would you be talking about? First of all, would you even look approachable to approach this kind of client, or would they kind of be so distracted by what you're wearing, what you're talking about, or just like how you carry yourself overall, to even get to the point of listening to what you're talking about as far as services? Okay, are you like scaring your client away, or are you attracting them? All right, now marketing, this is going to go hand in hand with the stats. Okay, so these are some stats that I looked up today, and I'm a little bit embarrassed because I've definitely looked up stats before, but not this in depth, and I did it just for the video, but it's definitely something that I realize I need to be incorporating more frequently for the success of my business. So top beauty industry statistics, right? The website that I found this on is explodingtopics.com. I got stats from different places, but this place got me a lot of stats. Now it says the beauty industry generates over $100 billion in revenue worldwide. The men's personal care market is projected to hit $276.9 billion by 2030. Skincare is projected to generate up to $117 billion by 2025. Y'all, that's next year. We only got a few months left in this year, so pretty much we are already there. And then beauty companies spent an estimated $7.7 billion on advertising in 2022. And you know, things just get more expensive. So if they spent $7.7 billion in 2022, I'd say add $2 billion to that for 2024, right? Or you can just go look up the actual stats for that for 2024. Cosmetic retailers report $17.9 billion in online sales. Now that alone tells you just so much. Okay, we're not gonna dive into it because like I said, I'm gonna create specific videos for each of these. So I'm gonna have a video coming up soon about marketing, and we will really break down these stats, but I'm just reading them to you to show you how useful it is to actually look these things up, and that it can really overall help you scale your business, like really take it to the next level. It says here that digital advertising makes up around 1/3 of the total ad spend in the beauty industry. So out of all the ways of advertising, online marketing is 1/3 of that, okay? And then of course you have like your word of mouth, or maybe they do some television stuff or whatever it is, ad campaigns, whatever. Beauty shoppers say YouTube is their top source for beauty related content. Around 4 in 5 beauty shoppers use Instagram daily. 4 in 5, like the stat in that is, hello, everybody's on Instagram. And then around 2 in 3 beauty shoppers say that they turn to influencers to discover new products. 67% of beauty shoppers say they turn to influencers to discover new products. That's more than 50%, y'all. 2 in 3, like that's the vast majority. And then let's get into some hair care industry stats, okay? So the global hair care market size is worth over 99.53 billion. That's nuts. And then I also looked up kind of like an idea of just like how many stylists in business and so on and so forth. And I found the question says, how many businesses are there in the beauty, cosmetic, and fragrance industry in the US in 2023? So this is just last year. And it said that there are 173,591 beauty, cosmetics, and fragrance store businesses in the US as of 2023, which was an increase of 4.7% from 2022. Says the other question here is, how has the number of beauty and cosmetic grown or declined in the past 5 years? I definitely just gave you the answer for that, but it said that it grows an average of about close to like 5% each year. So if that was the stat for 2023, then you can just imagine what it is for 2024, right? And then another one, and this one was like, which states have the highest number of businesses in the beauty, cosmetic, and fragrance store industry in the United States? Of course, California, with 25,845 businesses just in California. Texas is right after that with 17,659 businesses. Florida is 17,000, so they're both 17,000, like neck and neck right here. 148 businesses, right? I'm shocked that New York is not on that, but it's probably just relative with the amount of people that live in New York, right? But just thinking about those things will show you that, one, marketing is very important. It is everything. It is what will make or break your business. I won't say it is the most important tip that I'm sharing, but it's definitely like one of the most important tips, because if you gather all this information, you're like, okay, I want this to be my career. You know what you want to specialize in. Okay, I'm gonna be a makeup artist. Then you say, all right, my ideal client, she is a bride. Like, she's a bride, and not just any bride. She's a really fun, not too serious, kind of like your boho type of bride that probably will go for these kind of looks, right? But then you are not executing. You're not taking all of this information that you've gathered and that you've spent your time coming up with to really package and present it in a way that will just seal the deal. You need to put all that together in the most beautiful package that you can imagine. Think going to Chanel and walking out with that beautiful black bag and knowing that that box, the clerk beautifully just perfectly, tie that little Chanel ribbon around it, and you just don't even want to open it because it's just so beautiful. You have to take a couple pictures of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get the gist. Like, it's just so well done. It's just like, it's beautiful craftsmanship. That's how you need to advertise your business. People need to see that you care about it for them to care about it, okay? Because just like how people treat you, how you allow them to treat you, people treat your business how you allow them to treat your business. If you are just kind of like coming across as if you're just desperate for whatever, you set your price at this, but then your work, the way you're advertising isn't really giving this, then people will know, oh, she's just like capping. She's kind of just like shooting for the stars, kind of seeing if it'll stick or land. They'll kind of like try to negotiate with you, things of that nature, or they'll just play around in your inbox and not actually book because they have found somebody else who is confidently and consistently marketing their business in a way where they can tell, oh yeah, like it's gonna be this. It's not like they look at your page and they see that, okay, well, this looks good, but this doesn't really, and this is like kind of like giving me this idea, and this is just like, it's really just so all over the place. It is just so confusing that they're just like, yeah, I just can't really tell. When I swipe my card and put my money in here, I can't tell exactly what it is that I'm paying for, what I'm getting. It needs to be so clear that they know, based on, when I said consistency and just the way you advertise it, that once I pay for it, I'm gonna get the same thing all these other clients got. Truthfully, just like I said, marketing is one of the biggest tips. It's honestly one of the things that will probably make you want to pull your hair out the most. Just like the statistics said, like 1/3 of like beauty advertising is done digitally online. You spend so much time advertising. Like, if you really want a successful business in this field, it's just a harsh reality. There's no way around it. There's no saying, oh, I'm not tech savvy, or I'm not on Facebook, or I don't this or that. You better create a business account for your Facebook or for Instagram, like, and you should not be advertising. This is one tip I'll give you. I'm gonna have a whole video on marketing, but you should not be advertising from your personal page. Okay? That's the one thing I will tell you. If you don't ever make it over to that video, you need to separate your business from yourself. You are you. Your business should have its own identity, and all that will tie into like your branding and marketing and all that good stuff. So yeah, you're gonna spend a lot of time marketing to this ideal client. You got to figure out what your space looks like. Remember when I said visualize the client, what kind of salon would they be sitting in? Marketing will kind of help you to decide, okay, either you're going to go work in a salon like as a commission-based stylist, or you're going to create your own, right? You're going to do like a booth rent situation. Either way, you're going to want to find a space that kind of matches up with the client that you're looking for, because if you want a client that will like a space that looks like this, and then you go rent a place that looks completely different, then when that client comes in there, they might stay because they are non-confrontational, but I promise you they will not be back. You will not have good client retention because it's just not all going together. It's not very well packaged, right? It's not making sense. And then also you have to kind of like carve out time. Remember I told you you're going to spend a majority of your time kind of like constantly thinking of marketing ideas, how to put yourself out there, blah 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 blah, revamping, deleting stuff, doing a whole rebranding. Like, I feel like beauty professionals have midlife crises, if that's a word, at least once a year. I feel like, at least for me, with a self-diagnosed ADHD and all that, I constantly have like, not a meltdown, but just like start freaking out, like, oh my gosh, like I need to rebrand, I need to do like a big, you know, like rejudging, if you will, of my page or whatever, and I'll either delete a bunch of stuff or just like come up with a new strategy of how I want to market or whatever. Now, if you're marketing and it's working for you, then you still should be looking at like updated stats, because things change, you know what I mean? The industry grows 5% every year. So you don't want to get comfortable just thinking that, well, I've been doing this for a while, it's been working for me, because that could also be the reason. If you're a seasoned artist but you feel like you've plateaued, that could be it. You've gotten just too comfortable. Yes, it works for you, but this is 2024 and we're going into 2025. Like, what was working in 2022 and 2023 that was keeping you booked and busy is probably not going to work in 2025. Okay, if everybody's online, and like, true story here, when everybody started getting really big on reels, and not only just reels but really almost creating like little miniature movies and skits to advertise, I pretty much wanted to pass out, because I'm not super tech savvy. I really wish I was a stylist in the day and age where it was okay to just take a picture of your work and post it, because it has really become so complex. It's almost like you are required to be a content creator to be in this space to really stand out. Because with the amount of businesses, think about it, like 17,000 businesses just in Texas alone. What's gonna make people go to you? Like, ask yourself that. What is going to make you stand out? Like, you are going to obviously need to be doing more than just posting pictures, especially if the top booked people in your state or your city is doing a lot more. Look at what they're doing, and not like copy, but you really kind of have to keep up. You got to be realistic with yourself. If these people are on top and they're doing this, and you trying to go against the grain, and not in a way that's innovative and creative and people are like, ooh, I like that, but just kind of seeming like laziness, then you're just not gonna get the results that you're looking for. And that is just a harsh reality. Okay, all right, y'all, I just doused myself again in setting spray because we have finished up the look. We'll talk about it in a second, but I just want to go ahead and give you guys a final tip that I came up with, and that is think ahead. So once you have, decided that, all right, is this a career or a hobby for me? Then you say, okay, where do I fit in this space? And then you say, all right, who is my client? And then you decide, you come up with your marketing strategies, right? Then you are going to plan ahead. So you've come up with your marketing strategies. Planning ahead would look something like, okay, how often am I gonna post? We're gonna do this for the next 3 months. You kind of give yourself goals, right? You need to make like short-term goals and long-term goals. So say, all right, within the next year, I want us to service X amount of clients, right? I feel like, sorry y'all, my camera died and I had to like, obviously pick it up to change the battery, and I feel like it's just not looking how it looked a second ago. So sorry if that is distracting to you, but anyway, so yeah, you're gonna want to definitely like think ahead at this point, right? Get pen to paper. Don't keep it all in your head, all your great ideas and everything. Write it down. Like, whether you have a phone app or whatever to help you to plan and to really stay on top of things, whatever works for you, just do that. I personally have a ton of different ways that I plan things, but I love honestly writing stuff down, but I pair it multiple different ways. So whatever works for you, do that, but you need to be like actually coming up with a plan. So not just like making mental notes of things and kind of just like winging it as you go. You need to take this really seriously, especially if you have decided that you want this to be a career. This is where deciding if it's a career or a hobby is sort of gonna differentiate. I feel like people who, right here is itchy. I feel like, sorry guys. But I feel like people who want this to be a hobby, this is sort of where you're gonna kind of like wean away from doing too much planning, because this is kind of just an extra level of effort that truthfully, if it's not something you see yourself doing long term, then it just might be just a little bit more effort than you're willing to put in. But if it is something that you want to be your career, then you're definitely going to want to set goals for yourself. You're going to want to set some short-term goals, like, okay, this month I want to do this. I want to make X amount of money. I want to service X amount of clients, right? I want to do this. I want to do that. Then you can say, all right, next 3 months, I want us to do this. then within a year I want us to do this. Having your long-term goal kind of like align with the short-term goals is going to be crucial, because for example, if you have a long-term goal, it'll help you to kind of see, all right, the monthly goals that I set up, if I do that every single month, at the end of 12 months, will it have helped me to check off whatever that 1 year goal is? If not, then you'll need to kind of like work backwards from that 1 year goal and see, okay, what little steps can I implement to help me to achieve this goal here? So that's gonna help you, one, to not only plan ahead and to be able to see better results just by being a little bit more strategic and not just like freestyling, but it's also gonna help you to catch mistakes a lot faster, right? So for example, right, a part of thinking ahead is also assessing your goals. So I would say come up with your own sweet spot, whatever you feel like works for you. Either, I think daily is a little bit excessive, but I think, you know, you can either assess your strategy every month, every other month, quarterly. For me personally, I think I will be implementing this on like a quarterly basis, and then you can probably do a deep dive assessment at the end of every year, right? It's kind of like maybe like November, December-ish, before you get into New Year, really just looking into how the months went for you. Which months were your busiest? What were you doing during those months? Which months were your slowest? Is there anything you could do differently to help you kind of like eliminate such a huge gap in income during those months? And it'll just help you to kind of see, okay, so I've been doing this one thing for 3 months straight and I don't feel like it's working at all. Instead of just doing things and not paying attention to the result that you're getting from it, so i.e. you won't be able to fix it because you're not even paying attention to it. Because you're paying attention to it, you'll be able to see, okay, this is not working. You'll stop wasting your time. You'll be able to make your time make sense, like realize that time is money and you don't have time to be wasting doing strategies that don't work for you and that aren't bringing you the client that you're looking for. So yeah, that's my final tip, and I think it really just ties it all together. So one last time, quick rundown. If you decided to skip it all and you just want to know just like the complete list without all the chatter, then this is the part you're going to want to pay attention to. All right, tip number 1, is this your career or is it a hobby? Tip number 2, where do you fit into this space? Like, industry is big, where do you fit in? Are you a hairstylist? Are you a makeup artist? Are you an esthetician? Are you a barber? What is it that you're going to do? What service do you want to provide? And then you can narrow it down or niche down, if you will, even further. The more specific, I won't say the better. We'll talk about niches in another video, but that is my next tip, is to decide where you fit into the space. Now that you've decided where you fit into the space, the next thing that you're going to want to do is step 3, which is to find out what your ideal clientele looks like. Who is she? Is she a girl? Is she a guy? Where does she live? Where does she shop? Does she have kids? Is she married? Like, what kind of car does she drive? What kind of space do you need to cultivate in order to attract that said client? And that leads us to tip number 4, which is marketing. Marketing is going to be the bulk of your efforts. So you're going to want to be very strategic, look at stats, look at actual factual numbers, check your analytics regularly, and really study the game that you're in. Okay, if you want to be on top, you gotta know, first of all, who's sitting in that number 1 seat right now. Yeah, look at who's on top right now and kind of study like their strategies, what they do, the things that are very consistent in the way that they market, what time of day do they post, how often do they post, things of that nature. And then the last thing you're going to want to do is plan ahead. So now that you figured out, okay, this is what I'm going to market, I'm going to market on Instagram, or am I going to focus more on Facebook, like whatever it is that you're going to do, then you plan ahead. I am going to dedicate every Sunday to kind of like batch creating content. I'm going to edit them and then I'm going to schedule them so I have content going out all week long, right? Think ahead and plan around your circumstance. Being busy and not being able to keep up is just gonna leave you sitting on the bottom. You're not gonna see a lot of progress. So either way, whatever your circumstance is, you're gonna have to figure out and plan how you are going to overcome these obstacles and what you're gonna do to work through them. And then along with setting long-term and short-term goals for yourself, you're gonna have to assess those to make sure that the strategies that you put in place are actually working. And if not, then you need to go back to the drawing board and kind of see what it is that you can change, or what it is that's working that you need to just like double your efforts and just double down, go all out. I hope you found these tips very helpful. I'm so excited for your journey, and I'm excited for myself too, because like I said, doing the research to create this video has really definitely taught me a thing or two, if nothing else. Just seeing the numbers in real time, what they actually are, has definitely given me some thoughts on how I want to strategize for the final quarter, well, the final 2 quarters of the year. You know, we're more than halfway over, and it's not too late. Like, we can still get what we need to get out of 2024, and if nothing else, really set ourselves up for success for 2025. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that more people like you who need this information can find it. Speaking of which, share it with a fellow stylist or makeup artist or whoever, your girlfriend who's thinking about starting a business, so that they can really see that, one, the industry is super populated, and if you're gonna want to stand out and you want to have success here, it's gonna require some work, and that you could really just give them this video so that they could kind of like put these things in the back of their mind, so they can think, okay, is this something that I'm willing to do or not? And then if they are, then they can just hit the ground running. You know what I mean? We can all get it. You know what I mean? There's enough space in the industry for us all, regardless of how many people you see doing hair or makeup right now. But yeah, if you are interested to kind of like see more videos like this, definitely drop in the comments if there's anything in particular you want me to talk about. I will create a mini series about just about everything that we talked about in this video, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, for today's look, we're gonna keep it pretty simple. Yep, I'm just gonna prep my skin, and then we're gonna keep it nice and natural. And if you do like the look though, and you want me to film it separately as a tutorial, definitely give the video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments, and I'd be more than happy to do so, because the look I have in mind is gonna be so easy to recreate. So no worries, okay? All right, y'all, so woo, being pretty generous here because I don't have a primer in here, so I'm just gonna use the Urban Decay All Nighter as my primer today. So I have to make sure that I get enough on here to really cover my skin, and then I'm just gonna let it dry down a little bit while we go ahead and just hop right into our very first step. I'm gonna go ahead and just get in with the foundation. Last time I swatched these, 31 looked like it was my perfect shade. It was a little bit golden though, so I'll be curious to see how it looks like all over the face, because I don't like a super yellow looking foundation. I do think I'm golden, but I tend to be a little bit more neutral. I like to mix a little bit of a neutral shade in, and that's perfect because the other shade they sent me was 35, which is a deep neutral warm. So I'm gonna kind of put a little bit of both, but I'm gonna start off with 31 first. There we go. One more good look at it. So pretty, so thin, you could throw it in your purse. And look at this nozzle. Isn't this cute? It's their precision nozzle that they came out with. I'm just gonna dot it directly on my face because this is mine, even though if I really do enjoy it a lot, I might just add it into my kit, just like a couple of shades, you know. Okay, just a tiny drop. It says it's medium to full coverage. Well, not medium to full, but medium buildable coverage. So I'm curious to see how much coverage we'll get with these 2 little dots. And I'm gonna blend this out first, and then I'm gonna add 35. if you see me looking off to the side, I have a viewfinder here, and I'm also, there's no mirror in front of me because I'm trying to get good lighting because we're in my bathroom. So I'm standing right in front of the mirror, so I don't have a mirror other than this viewfinder. Okay, this side is giving you a very good view. I do think this shade is a little bit too yellow for me. It also seems a little bit dark. What do y'all think? I'm not worried about that though, because I could definitely fix that with concealer and stuff, but this is definitely not my exact shade. But I'm gonna give it time to kind of like settle into the skin and do what it needs to do. The coverage though is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Like, look at it. It's a natural matte finish. I feel like it almost looks matte already. Like, there's not really a lot of high sheen. And I have combination skin, really get oily in this T-zone here, so it'll be really good to see how it holds up throughout the day. And one thing that I will mention about the foundation is it claims to be sweat proof, humidity proof, and waterproof, y'all, and that's a lot of boxes to check. So if it really does all of that, which I did already do a swatch test, that video will be up separately, like an initial review. When they sent it to me, I did an unboxing, I swatched it on my arm, I wore it all day, so I won't give you too much tea from that because you'll have to just go watch that video. Oh my gosh, I'm looking pretty orange. It's driving me nuts, but that's okay. I'm just gonna put a little bit more. Don't know why. I don't think I'm gonna put 35 in because I feel like 35 might be dark, like pretty dark. But I'm just gonna put a tiny dot of 35 kind of around the perimeter of my face, since I assume it's gonna be a little bit darker anyways. And then we'll just like get on with it. I'm not gonna talk anymore about the foundation until the very end. I'll give y'all my thoughts just so I can keep it to the point of the video. Alright, you didn't think I was gonna go and not talk about the foundation, right? Hello. First of all, I always keep my promises, always. And I definitely promised you guys that at the end I would share my thoughts on the new, well, I don't know if they're new, but I have not heard of them and they got sent to me, but the Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation. Y'all, okay, let's get into it. This is a closer up look at the foundation. Truthfully, I do think it is a little bit darker than I would like, but not like in person. It doesn't look like dark or anything. I do think adding the concealer and everything like made the world of a difference, and I tried to like not be heavy-handed with bronzing or anything like that, and I skipped blush because really it's just a foundation review and I'm not going anywhere, so I wanted to keep it nice and light and bright. So yeah, that's just what I did. I'm not wearing any lashes, no foundation, nothing. Not no foundation, like liar. No lashes, no blush, no eyeshadow, just literally mascara, lip gloss, and the foundation. This foundation here, y'all, first of all, the packaging, I will definitely give it like a 10 out of 10. It's so cute, it's so lightweight, it's plastic, so you don't have to worry about it being heavy or that it's gonna break if you accidentally drop it, because me, I'm klutz, so something like this is perfect for me. I like the size too, because y'all, like, you can literally bring this in your purse. I'm a person that's always late to be going somewhere. So being able to just throw this in your bag and just be like, I'll just do it in the car, is just like game changer, right? It's not a complicated product to work with, so I think it's very beginner friendly. Anybody can pick this up, but I will tell you, this is beginner friendly, but it is a learning curve. This foundation reminds me a little bit of like the Il Makiage, and also the original Fenty foundation, the Pro Matte. Y'all, this does not play. It does not. If you can tell, like, my face is definitely matte. It's so matte. It's probably the most matte it's been in a while, because I typically don't wear matte foundations unless I'm really going for a full beat. And I was not really going for a full beat today, as you can tell, hence I didn't do the blush and all the other stuff. But this foundation, I feel like definitely gave me one good coverage, like definitely buildable. Granted, my skin was not like broken out, or I didn't have too much to cover, so definitely test it out if you have like rosacea or like severe acne or anything like that. I think it will definitely still do the job of covering for you. But what I will say is it's extremely matte. So just like the Il Makiage and the Fenty, when I work with those foundations, I do like to work in sections. I would say do the same thing with this. It blends out really easily, as you could tell from, well, hopefully you could tell, just a little dot that I put 2 dots on this side, 2 dots on this side, and I blended it out. Like, it covered everything, and just like a couple dots on my forehead, and it was more than enough. I feel like it dried down very quickly. Even as I was blending it on camera, I could look in the viewfinder and tell that my skin was being mattified. And I did not have on any mattifying primer underneath, nothing. If anything, me spraying the all-nighter was a lifesaver, because it gave me a little bit of time to be able to add some moisture back in to blend it. But even with spraying that, it did not change the finish, because it still did dry down very much matte. Sometimes when you spray like setting spray while you're working, it kind of makes it a little bit more luminous. Not this foundation, not at all. What it says, it's what you're gonna get. It's heavy duty, okay? I think this is perfect for an oily girl who maybe feels like you've tried a couple of things and it doesn't really matter what, like you always seem to get just like super shiny. I am so curious to see how this is gonna look at 11 o'clock tonight, and I'm pretty positive it's gonna look just like this. Maybe a slight sheen, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna look exactly like this, because based on how it feels right now, I know foundations like this, it's going to do what it needs to do. And it's not just like a typical 8-hour wear or 16-hour wear even. It's a 24-hour wear, y'all, like 24 hours. So I definitely feel like by 11 o'clock tonight, it's still gonna look like this if it's meant to be worn for 24 hours. This is just awesome. I would definitely, if I was to rate this out of 10, I would give it probably a strong 9, only because I feel like it's not difficult to work with, but if you do not know what you're doing, I could definitely see somebody panicking and feel like, oh my gosh, it is like everything's just so dry. My skin does not feel dry, it doesn't feel dehydrated, so I'll definitely give it that. It feels lightweight, like aside from looking in the viewfinder here, it doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything at all. But it definitely does change the like the chemistry of everything else that you layer on top. I did not need to powder my face down in order to add my bronzer or anything like that. Once I realized what that finish was, and the dry down like literally was actually self-setting. A lot of self-setting foundations, when you touch it, you still do get a little bit of product on your fingers. It's not like 100% self-setting. And for security, especially as a bridal makeup artist, I always powder anyways, because you know, I'd just rather be safe than sorry. But this foundation, I'm not gonna lie, I actually do feel like I could put it on and just move on to the next step and not have to worry about powdering it down at the end. If anything, I would say maybe like a Melanie Mills sealing spray at the end, not final seal, because it's just, baby, this foundation is matte enough as is. I would also skip the one size, because it just I think that would just take it just like over the edge. and there's a borderline between like matte and then just like too matte. And right now I feel like this is a perfect natural matte finish. The other reason why I would give it a 9 is because, well, it's the same reason, but like I said, it changes the chemistry of the other things you put on top. So even when I put my concealer on, y'all, I put my concealer on and I put it under my eye, forehead, you know, along my nose, jawline and everything, and I was going to just like blend around very quickly. I realized when I started blending it, I should not have done that. I should have definitely just did like maybe worked off a palette and just put the concealer on that or on the back of your hand, work off of that and blend in the area that you want to blend at that time. The only area I think you could get away with doing that is under eye, because usually we do want more coverage under the eye anyways. But y'all, the concealer started pretty much like drying down. I had to get the setting spray again, spray, and then blend it out quickly, like quickly. But once it dried down, like even the concealer didn't need to be set with powder. It all was just like dry. There's nothing coming off on my fingers, y'all. And I have some paper towel right here. Like, look. You see? Like, it really does what it need to do. I almost feel like I want to give it a 10, y'all, but I'll give it a 9.5 because honestly the issue that I have with it is just a learning curve. And yeah, I definitely feel like this is gonna be one of my favorites. I may need to run in and get a lighter shade though, to mix in with these. I think these will work perfectly. This 35 will do well in the summer months, but I haven't been going out too much. Maybe I need like a 29. So I think I'll go in store when I have some time and I will get like maybe like 2 shades lighter than this one, just so I can have a really light shade to go to kind of like mix into it. And I feel like this darker one looks good on my outer perimeter, and then this one will be like a good all over, and then I'll use the brighter one to really just add it into areas that I need to lighten up. And yeah, I think that'll be perfect for me. And yeah, it's quick because you don't have to set it with anything, so you can really just slap this on and go. Yeah, add a little bit of blush if you want to, lash if you want to, a little bit of mascara if you want to, some lip gloss, and you are good to go. Okay, and then you cannot forget to grab yourself some setting spray. All nighter is definitely one of my favorites. I always have this in my kit. I have swapped out so many setting sprays since the beginning of my makeup artistry career, and this is one thing that is always in my kit, and that is non-negotiable. So yeah, definitely this and these gonna be your best friend. As always, if you try it, be sure to let me know how you like it. You can keep up with me here or on my socials. I do try to respond to every single comment, unless you're just like dumb, which I will ignore because we don't tolerate rude behavior and bullies over here. So if you're just being silly, I'm going to be silly right back and ignore you. But if you do want to get a little bit more personal or like chit chat with me a little bit more, there is also Instagram. On Instagram, I am Kimmy Kin, so KYMMI_KYNZ. I will try to remember to put it in the description box. All right, guys. Until next time, that's it. Bye. All right, y'all. This is what we look like outside in some natural light. Looking at it in natural light, I definitely don't feel like the shade is off. You can tell me what you think, but I think it looks perfectly fine right now out here in natural light. So it could have just been the bathroom lighting, but a good look at what the skin is looking like. The finish is amazing.